The 2016 Netflix original film Spectral represents a fascinating intersection of military grit and high-concept science fiction, a cinematic alchemy that transforms a standard war narrative into a chilling exploration of the boundaries between physics and the paranormal. Directed by Nic Mathieu, the film does not merely lean on the tropes of the soldier versus monster subgenre but instead constructs a meticulously paced investigative thriller that treats its supernatural elements with a grounded, scientific rigor. From the moment the audience is dropped into the war-torn streets of Chisinau, Moldova, there is an immediate sense of suffocating atmosphere, where the rubble of a collapsing state serves as the graveyard for something far more predatory than local insurgents. The narrative follows Mark Clyne, a DARPA researcher whose specialty lies in the manipulation of light and the creation of advanced imaging systems. Clayne is portrayed by James Badge Dale with a quiet, observant intensity that sets him apart from the typical action hero. He is a man of logic thrust into a scenario where logic appears to have failed. When elite Delta Force operators begin dying in the field from mysterious, instantaneous internal freezing, Clayne is summoned to the front lines. The military believes their hyperspectral goggles are malfunctioning, showing ghosts or artifacts in the feed, but Clayne's arrival marks the transition from seeing these anomalies as technical glitches to recognizing them as a lethal, physical presence. The tension in the first act is masterfully built through the visual language of the unseen. As Clayne and the military escort venture into the dead zone of the city, the film utilizes the concept of hyperspectral imaging to create a unique sense of dread. We see what the characters see: blurred, translucent figures that move with an unnatural, fluid grace through walls and floors, leaving a trail of frozen corpses in their wake. These entities, the titular Spectrals, represent a terrifying evolution of the horror antagonist. They cannot be shot, they cannot be bargained with, and they possess a speed that renders traditional ballistics obsolete. The early skirmishes in the abandoned apartment complexes are choreographed with a frantic energy that highlights the helplessness of the soldiers, turning a highly trained military unit into a group of panicked survivors. What elevates Spectral above a standard B-movie is its commitment to its scientific conceit, the Bose-Einstein condensate. Rather than resorting to spirits or demons, the screenplay pivots into the realm of theoretical physics. Clayne hypothesizes that these entities are a man-made state of matter, atoms cooled to temperatures so close to absolute zero that they begin to act as a single quantum entity. This revelation shifts the film's tone from a ghost story to a techno-thriller. It provides a tangible goal for the protagonists: the search for a way to disrupt this exotic matter. The scenes where Clayne and the survivors scavenge parts to build makeshift plasma weapons in a civilian refinery evoke a classic sci-fi ingenuity, reminiscent of the resourceful survivalism found in James Cameron's Aliens. The middle chapter of the film slows down just enough to allow the thematic weight of the conflict to sink in. We see the impact of this super weapon on the local population, who have begun to view the Spectrals through a lens of folk superstition, believing them to be the spirits of war, come to claim the land. This creates a sharp contrast between Clayne's empirical approach and the visceral, emotional terror of the Moldovan refugees. The film suggests that when technology reaches a level of incomprehensible lethality, it becomes indistinguishable from magic or the supernatural to those on the receiving end. This subtext adds a layer of tragic irony to the proceedings. The very science meant to advance humanity has been twisted into a form that mimics the ancient horrors of folklore. The visual design of the film deserves significant praise, particularly the work of Weta Workshop. The aesthetic of the Spectrals themselves is hauntingly beautiful yet clinical. They do not look like traditional cinema ghosts. They look like 3D scans of human agony caught in a state of perpetual stasis. Their movements, often captured in slow motion as they pass through solid matter, create a surreal contrast with the brutalist, gray architecture of the Eastern European setting. The Masaryk power station, which serves as the setting for the climactic raid, is a masterpiece of set design, a labyrinthine industrial cathedral that houses the dark secret of the entity's creation. As the third act unfolds, the film delves into the ethical abyss of military experimentation. The discovery that the Spectrals were printed from human templates, literally scanning the nervous systems of living people to create these condensate shells, transforms the antagonists from mindless monsters into victims of a horrific industrial process. The ghosts are the literal remnants of a population harvested for war. This revelation anchors the film's action in a profound sense of melancholy. When Clyne finally reaches the heart of the facility and sees the rows of suspended human remains used as the blueprints for the army, the movie moves beyond a simple survival story and into a critique of the dehumanization inherent in the military-industrial complex. The final assault is a spectacle of light and shadow, as the soldiers, now armed with Clyne's pulse rifles, engage in a high-stakes battle against hundreds of the entities. The choreography here is a blend of tactical maneuvering and sci-fi grandeur, showing the tide finally turning as human ingenuity catches up to the terror it created. However, the victory is bittersweet. The film concludes not with a triumphant celebration, but with the sobering realization of what was sacrificed to achieve this power. Clyne's decision to shut down the machines and release the remaining condensate entities is a mercy kill, a final act of scientific ethics in a world that had abandoned them. Spectral remains a standout in the library of modern science fiction because it respects the intelligence of its audience and the integrity of its premise. It doesn't shy away from the technical jargon, nor does it let the action overshadow the atmospheric dread. It is a film about the ghosts we create when we treat human life as a variable in an equation of power. The performances, particularly Dale's stoicism and Emily Mortimer's portrayal of a haunted CIA operative, provide a human core to a story that is otherwise dominated by the cold, unyielding laws of physics. It is a cinematic experience that lingers in the mind, much like the afterimages of the hyperspectral goggles, reminding us that the most terrifying ghosts are often those we build with our own hands. In reflecting on its place in the genre, one must appreciate how the film manages to feel both expansive and claustrophobic. The wide shots of the ruined city provide a sense of scale, while the tight, frantic camera work during the encounters maintains a pulse-pounding intimacy. The sound design also plays a crucial role, with the high-pitched hum of the condensate and the muffled, icy impact of the entity's touch creating an auditory landscape that is as unsettling as the visuals. Spectral is a testament to the idea that a mid-budget sci-fi film, when executed with clear vision and thematic depth, can rival the impact of any blockbuster. It is a ghost story for the age of quantum mechanics, a military thriller for the age of drone warfare, and a somber reminder that in the pursuit of ultimate security, we may accidentally engineer our own extinction.